Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits. My name's Penny. I live in Central Illinois and I'm a knitter, a blogger, a YouTube podcaster, and an Instagrammer. Grab a cuppa and your knitting and let's talk about some knitting. Hi knitters, welcome back or welcome. My name's Penny. I live in Central Illinois. I might have just told you that. Anyway, today is Wednesday, November 5th. And what I'm seeing outside my window here is beautiful. The trees are not starting, but they're continuing to go orange and red, the ones that are directly out. I'm noticing my ones in my back and ones over here are kind of getting that crinkly look, right? And today it's supposed to be in the 60s again, so there will be porch knitting. I'm slowly taking things off the porch. I've taken my cushions off, and then maybe I'll take a chair. I'll leave one chair for me for a while because it's going to be kind of nice for the next few days, maybe some rain, but it's going to be in the 60s. So if you are a golfer, this would be a nice time to be out and go golfing for sure. So, okay, let's just get started with some knitting stuff. Grab a cuppa and you're knitting and kick back, and I'm going to do the same in my mug. I had an early start this morning. Since I got back from Norway, I've had this plethora of appointments, a couple of doctor's appointments, just yearly checkups, right? Mammogram, DEXA scan, dentist, and then this morning I had to go get some blood drawn before coffee. So I was out there very early so I could get it done right away. So this is my first real cup of hot coffee today. Let's enjoy it. Okay. I have some finished objects we're going to start with right off the bat. Number one is Musselburgh Number 13. And this was one that I had shown before. I cast on October 1st and I took it on the Norway trip so that I could work on it there and finished it last week or so. I do not know what the yarn is. This was out of my PYS, Personal Pennies Yarn Shop, or also known as Stash. So this was out of there, but I did it in coordination with the Downseller Studio pigskin party that I'm a part of. I'm not contributing much to the numbers right now because I have a lot of whips, but this was one of the October challenges. And so I'm just going to say here, it is done in the pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you have not made your appointment, your yearly appointment, if you are of a certain age, please do that. It is, I'm not going to say painless, but mine went fairly okay this time again, and I am grateful for that. So it is very important to go out and have those done as a woman because and try and catch that. And as part of my one of my checkups that I had last week, they do the breast exam as well. So I'm fairly confident that all is well on those avenues. So I encourage you, if you've not taking care of that, to do that. Now is a perfect time to get that done before the holidays, and so you are clear sailing until next year. Again, this is Musselburgh Number 13. I did adult medium on a size 4 needle. That is my MO. This is going into the charity pile that I will donate somewhere come next month in December or the 1st of January. I'm going to take a stack that I've been working on for the last year. So I used 83 grams or about 360 yards of that. And as I said, this was for the pigskin party. So anyway, and I apologize, my nose is running. That's just what happens when it's a little cool outside and then we get going. So that's my first finished object. My second one that I want to share with you is Amber. This is one I've been working on since May. This was my local yarn shop. Fiber Universe knitting is where I would knit on it. Took a little bit of a break when in Norway or pre-Norway so that I could concentrate on knitting things for Norway. But this again is Amber by Cheryl Makhtari. It is featured as one of the featured patterns in Alina Magazine Spring 2025. And here is hers. That's really where I got my inspiration from. Now, couple of things. I did not have access to the yarn that it was knit in, and I finally finished this on Halloween Day because I was bound and determined after I completed all of my projects that I wanted to be done for the pigskin party and then going on, I wanted to finish this one up so I could at least wear it. And as luck will have it, I'm going to be able to wear it today and probably Friday to the yarn shop as well. So it was not really, it shouldn't have taken me as long as it did. But like I said, I had other things in between that I was working on. So I did the size 4 which is a 41.25. My yarn that I used was Sheep G's Organicon. It was 100% cotton, and also then Fiber Spates Cumulus, which is an alpaca and silk. And I used those two together because I liked the colorway that Cheryl got in her sample, one that she designed and had in the magazine, and I wanted to kind of go that direction. Now, I tossed around a couple of things here, and I'll try to bring you back here. I actually added one extra buttonhole on here, and I could have not done that, but I was afraid when I got done that I would that it would be too low, because I really, in the photo, she has a tank top underneath it, and I just want to say I've been wearing this morning, and this against the skin without a tank top or anything underneath it really, really feels good. And so I'm not so sure that I'm going to wear a tank top underneath it in the summertime. I tossed around because I had sufficient yarn to do a long sleeve or 3/4. And to be perfectly honest, I love this texture stitch. And she does a lot of this on some patterns that she has in Ravelry. But I started to do the decreases for a bracelet length. And I just was not liking the look that I was getting underneath the arm with the texture stitches. And so then I went back and decided to just do it to the elbow, kind of sort of the elbow for me, right below the fatty part. Hers was much shorter, and I liked it really well as well. So that's kind of the modification that I did with it. I did pick up extra stitches, about 20 extra stitches underneath the sleeves. This is something that I always do because, you know, they may say to pick up 5 or 6 stitches, and I always find there's so much more that you can pick up underneath there. And for me, with a fattier arm up above, it really helps, and I like that. So I added extra stitches underneath that, and mailman's leaving, so you'll see him go by. So I really kind of I liked that to not get a snug fit. I do not want a snug fit in my sleeve. This has the double knit button band. Now I'm going to say a couple of things. This also has Italian cast on, which I, in theory, knew how to do, but I've always poo-pooed it when it came to doing it. Like, I'm not doing that. It takes extra time. And for the button band and I have double knit before. Again, it took a class and I never really went there with it any further. But I was pleasantly pleased with myself that I did that Italian cast on so well, and the bind off. And then I did the double knit button band as well, continued on. I love the look of this button band because it's double knit and it folds back around. It is tedious to do. This probably took me 3 or 4 days of my knitting time to do that because you're going back and forth the way it goes. I totally love the look I love the feel of it. I love the substantial on it too. And I will definitely be doing this again. So I will probably always leave the top button, which is an extra buttonhole and button band, probably always buttoned up, but I certainly could do this even, you know, not. So anyway, I just love this. I ordered my buttons from Mood Fabrics out in New York, picked out just 2 styles that I plugged in there and said, oh, I want to do peach. And I came back with a couple and I wasn't sure about which ones. I opened it up to my Instagram people on PJKNits and it had kind of got their take on it. My problem was the darker one was smaller than the buttonhole. And so I kind of knew that going on into it. And so by probably the process of elimination, I went with the lighter peach ones and on the right side because they fit through the buttonhole. And up until this morning, I had left the inside of the thread still hanging from the button hole because I thought, well, if I had to, I could tighten it up with the stitches if I needed to do that. But as luck would have it, they're staying on just fine. I probably, again, will always have this buttoned up. That's just the way I am. But maybe next summer with a nice tank top underneath it, I have a couple of options. I might just throw it open to that as well. So anyway, as far as yarn that I used in the Sheep G's, I used 271 grams. And in the Fiber States Cumulus, 112 grams, because there was a lot more to that. That was the mohair. And so I'm going to try and just give you a little. There will be photos in my Ravelry projects, which I am PJKNits1 on Ravelry. There will also be later today, PJKNits on Instagram, and then also on my blog, www.pjknits.blogspot.com. There will be more photos for sure. So I'm just going to kind of cock this, hopefully all wells up, and I will back it up here a bit so you just get the total view of what we're looking at maybe. There we go. So I am totally loving this. It is a ribbed at the bottom and at the arms, and I think it works out very well, and it's perfect for fall, I think. And I just so happen to have a pair of QVC Bell pants in my wardrobe that I bought earlier this year. And so this is the button band and everything. I'm really loving everything about this particular sweater. I am pleasantly surprised, and I will look at more of Cheryl Mokhtari's patterns as well. So those are my 2 finished objects for this month that I wanted to share with you. Now, things that I'm knitting on, knit-alongs that are kind of going on right now. Let's see where to start with that. Okay, let's start with, on the Saturday night Zoom about a month ago, we decided to do a kind of a knit-along, a Christmas sweater knit-along, because I threw out in the last episodes several different options, that you might want to look at, and I think we've got some takers on it, and so I am working on mine, and I decided on Christmas Bell by Isabel Kramer, and with that background, that's fun, isn't it? Showing through, there we go, Christmas Bell by Isabel Kramer. And if you, last couple of episodes, I've kind of talked about what I was thinking about using in my yarns. And I had bought Cascade, I'm using Cascade Yarns Heritage for the base. And I had bought a red, and I had a cream and a kind of a goldy color in my PYS that I was going to kind of put together for my Christmas Bell. Excuse me. And so I started out with the sweater, and I actually rethought it even before I got the first row of color work in. And I had talked about, I had this yarn in my PYS. It is James C. Brett's double knitting yarn that I've had for quite some time. And so I pulled it out and I thought, let's just give it a whirl. And if you can see, it has these little paillettes in it, and they're kind of on the goldy, sparkly side. And I thought, let's just give this a try and see what you think. And I have to tell you, I have had the best time with this. I can hardly put it down. I have several things that are going on. So when I kind of do one, and then when I finish that to a point, then I pick this one up. I have a third one I pick up when I want I don't want to have to pay attention. And then I started picking this one up more often. And I just am loving everything about this. And the thing I'm seeing is that paillettes do not fully show through on the front, but I think that I can deal with that down the road. And I don't know if there's not enough to really see too much of the sparkle. Maybe you can there. But I am just loving this. I am loving it so much. I have put the pattern into Knit Companion, and I started trying to do it on my phone on Knit Companion, and I need bigger. And so I have put it into my iPad, which is perfect because I can zone into it and make notes on it. But I am 100% loving this. This is so much fun to see this kind of create. And I have to tell you, this yarn that's in here, it's 9% mohair, 9% wool, 68 acrylic, 10% polyester, 4% paillette. And I don't think you can find it anywhere anymore. But this working on it is so scrumptiously soft. I am just having so much fun with it. Now, what I don't like that I noticed last night was that it has a turned down, it just has a rolled edge. And I'm not crazy. I'm thinking that maybe when it's on, you won't see that white as much, but I might have to go back and deal with that and put some sort of garter or something at the top. But that's a ways to go. I'm just having a whole lot of fun with that and using my little stitch markers, stitch stoppers, and it's in my Snoopy bag, Molly Klein design from years back. I'm just loving this. So this is Christmas Bell. This is my progress on my Christmas sweater for right now. Okay, the next knit along that I'm doing is with Arne and Carlos. I'm doing for the month of November. I'm doing their stocking, and every day about 11 o'clock a new episode comes out and a new clue comes out about 11:15. And so I am working on this stocking for me. I am all caught up to date. I did realize yesterday I did the chart first and then watched the episode, and so I have to go back just one needle and rip back so that I can be ready for the heel, the afterthought heel. But this is what I am so far, my progress, and I'm pleased with that. Leaving it, I've tried several times to put it on a 16-inch circular needle, and it's just a little shy of that. And I could go to the shorties, but I'm okay with the double point. So this is what we've got so far. Having fun with that. And it's yarn that I purchased from Wool & Company, and it's the Rowan yarn from them, the Norwegian wool that I'm doing on. So I'm working on that. Every day I try and do one of those. It's only 6 rows. The pattern is free until the end of the knit along. So if you're looking at doing it in the future, be sure and download the free pattern before it has to go to a paid pattern. So that is a couple of knit alongs that I am doing. I am also doing a knit along with my my friends from the Fiber Universe. We picked out these yarns, talked about this before. It is Ridge Forrester from the Lina Finished Knits magazine. We bought the yarn in tandem when we were at the Makers Meetup and Wool & Co. And I'm using the Fiber Company's Luma. It is in the Saint Tropez colorway. So this is one of the yarns, and then I'm holding it with Ito Sensei, which is the other one that I'm using. Both of those purchased at the meetup. Debbie and Pat are both done with theirs, but because I was knitting for Norway, then kind of finishing this, and I'm working on that. This is the project that I go to when I'm kind of just need a little something to get it together. And so this 2 yarns held together. I guess that's the front. Has these big cables in it, and it really isn't a wonderful project to kind of just to play around with when you're watching something, or maybe when I go to the yarn shop this week. So that is kind of the knit alongs that I am embracing and working on right now. I did have a Fisher cut bait. It's a knit along that I'm kind of hosting on the Ravelry group under PJKNits. And Fisher cut bait is just for 2025. It is to take your whips from 2025 and let's try and get them done by the end of the year. And so I am kind of making that commitment to myself as well. And so I have, as I showed you earlier, 2 that are finished. And these are what are still out there that are in progress. The only one that's not here is the Christmas sweater. I have to add the tab to that. So that is in my journal, and that's kind of a knit along, and we're doing through the Ravelry group as well. And because it is my thought that I want to go into my new journal in 2026 with no carryover 2025 projects. I'm not saying that I don't have 2024 and backwards, but if this works, I might go back in 2024 and pull that out and try and work on that for 2026. We shall see. So that is kind of my thought on the knit-alongs. As far as KORN, knitting on right now, Ridge Forrester and the Christmas projects, and then I have one other that is Musselburgh Number 12. And this one, again, maybe something I take to the shop because I did buy the yarn there. It is a Malabrigo, and this is scrumptious as well. So I'd like to get this one done. This is the last time we were together where I was at, but I'd like to get this done because I think it makes a nice manly charity project. So this is Musselburgh Number 12, and Musselburgh, I believe, Number 11 is out in the car. That is my hand-dyed yarn that I used, so that I did. And so I've got that. I'd like to get that one done too, but that one's kind of going to be, I'm saving that for me. So that's kind of the KORN that's going on right now. October, of course, is done, and I just want to do a quick journal review. I do a page in my journal as well for every month that I kind of have thoughts, things that I would like to knit on during that month, things that I may have due that month, my podcast notes, fiber events that might entice me to go somewhere, and then just then at the end of the month I do what we call an in and an out to kind of keep tabs on the grams. It's kind of like your weight thing, right? Calories in, what calories out. But anyway, so for October, what came in was 850 grams. What went out? 466 grams. So for the month, I'm 384 grams to the plus. And for the year, 2,143 grams for the plus. And I know, I keep saying this, but I think by the end of the year, I will be in the clear. Just because there's a lot of sweater quantities going out here that I've been knitting on. So we're kind of hopeful for that, right? So that is kind of the October journal review for you. So, and then I just wanted to share another journal that I am working on that I just want to talk about that because I know I have said a lot that I am, I'm really a journal junkie. I have my knitting journal. I have a journal that I write in thoughts, sayings that I might want to remember, upbeat sayings, and sometimes I just bitch and moan into it, and name names. And then conversation I had with my niece last week or so, she's promised me several times that if something happens to me, she will come in and scoop up those journals. She won't read them, but she will dispose of them so that the world and etc. won't see my thoughts at the time. But so I journal that way. I have a little journal, a daily journal that, what am I doing today, or what do I need to eat, and that. So I'm a list maker, and I think that comes from my time when I worked for the College of Medicine. Is that my job in purchasing was such that I was dealing with some contracts that had timelines, and there were certain things that needed to be done at certain times. And so I think I just have always been a list maker, from 26 years there and maybe even beyond. I don't remember. But anyway, so I have started a new journal, as it would be. And this particular journal is really kind of knitting related inspirational pics. In the past, I had a binder, and it went all the way back to 2014, probably, and before that, where I would see things on Pinterest, and I would maybe ready to wear items, and they look like they could be knitted. They could be reimagined into knits. Or I would see some a styling photo on Pinterest, or when we got catalogs that, the catalogs that you get now are so far and few between that I don't really get my styling ideas from there. I get it from Instagram. But there's still some things that I want to put into my kind of inspirational journal for colorways. It could be colors. It could be knitting. It could be something I've seen that maybe I want to incorporate into maybe some style at home. I have a couple of ideas, Norwegian inspired, that I would like to do. And so I thought it was time. And sometimes I would put those photos into my knitting journal, the yearly journal. But the problem was then they're in the knitting journal, and I couldn't figure out, you had to go back and see, oh yeah, I was going to put, that looked good with that in Pinterest. And so finding it was a little bit harder. So I decided to take my my binder and go back and get rid of a lot of those things. Were like really old, really dated. And so I decided to start my new journal, and I'm just going to share a few of the pages so far. I had to add this in the beginning. This is some color inspiration from Norway. I think those colors just go together. And then some couple of things that I think I got out probably at Talbot's or one of the magazines that I got, but I liked this stripe thought. And I thought this would be super, super cool for spring and summer, doing some striped sweaters, because there's a lot of cool stripe patterns out there. And what I do need to do is, and want to go back and pull those ones that I have in my library or my favorites and just list them here, kind of give some ideas. I've not done that yet, but I want to add that piece to it. And then this is from my journal from 2014. A lot of this was, how can you incorporate some knits? I liked the style that I was seeing, but I wanted to make it knit worthy. And then also it incorporated a lot of things that went together. And so this is from, some were 2014. One is from just this fall in 2025. And then the fabric swatch, I belong to Vogue Fabrics. They have a quarterly catalog that they send out of fabrics that to their subscribers. You have to pay for that subscription for Vogue Fabrics, but you get these little fabric swatches. And because I'm getting back into some sewing for myself, I decided to use one of those to kind of incorporate this. So this group here is from 2014. These all are 2014. This particular one, I did knit a very similar sweater, Storm Mountain. And so I really wanted ideas of what goes with that. And I also have a shawl, big shawl that I knit from Cheryl Overly that kind of duplicates that. And so that was kind of my thought process back there in 2014. It was called Knit to Fit, meaning I want it to fit me both in wearing, but also in style. And I also thought at the time I'd be a lot thinner. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. That is not part of this. And then this is 2025. This is one of those fabric swatches. It's kind of a denim-y color. And I like the idea of that sweater. And I entitled this page Denim Friendly because all of these keep with what I like to wear, and that is denim. And then also in the fall 2025 fabric swatches, there was a couple of really cool kind of herringboning-ish things, but I also at the same time got a catalog, and I don't know who it was from, Talbot's, or it more than likely it was Talbot's or one of the other ones, but I really liked this skirt, and it had black boots with it. And then I saw also they had a sweater paired with it. And so this is the fabric swatch, and this, it's hard to see. I'll get close there. You can see it kind of has those herringbone look as well. And so I'm on the hunt now for this particular skirt. Not that I have a lot of places that I wear it, but I just think that could be interesting, and maybe that sweater, and maybe not this year, maybe next year. So that was one from fall 2025. And then I had, I decided I needed to put my Christmas sweater ideas in here as well. And just adding the stickers. I'm always on the search for more stickers ideas. That's the Knitting for Olive Ensemble. And then finally, this other one, and there's still more pages. I'm going to add sweater ideas to both of these pages for that. And then I think the final one that I want to share with you, this one popped out of a little folder I had by mistake, and this is probably a couple years older, but what I like about this particular one, it looks to be a vest, but I don't think it is a vest. It has some collaring here, but really what I'm looking at this is for a Fair Isle vest in the future out of these particular colors, and maybe even duplicating that design. So that's kind of my start to my journal for inspiration, and I wanted to share that with you because I think it's fun. It's just another creative outlet for us as well. Now, at this point in time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in here a giveaway for this episode, because I have a fall bag from our friend Sandy. Sandy is a treasure. Love her to death. She is kind and such a fun gal to be around, and a great sewist as well. And like I said, she's a peach. But anyway, I'm going to do another fall bag here because we're still into fall. Has this lovely vinyl bottom. I love these vinyl bottoms. And nice green inner as well. So all I'm going to say is this. I just want you to comment below. That's all. And let's also say this. For those of you who say, I don't live in the country, I will ship anywhere because I want to flood the world with Sandy's bags. So all you need to do is comment. Just tell me what you're doing this fall, what you're knitting on. If you're doing a knit along, just comment. That's all I need. That's all I need. Simple things. I love our community. We have such a wonderful community. You have been all so kind about coming back each time and making good comments. And just in our community on Zoom and otherwise, they're so enabling. They're so kind. They're so free with their information. And sometimes on Zoom on Saturday nights, we talk over each other. But it's just, I come off of a Saturday night and I feel like I've been out on a real fun date with friends. So our community is the best. What can I say? So let's do mail call. I have some things that I want to share with you that I received in the mail, either purchased or otherwise. I received these before Halloween. I've been using them quite a bit, and now that Halloween's over, I want to put them away. Maybe use them on one more fall project. But I received this lovely Stitch Stoppers Ghosts because a viewer and a friend. I did not ask if I could use her name, so I'll just say thank you to my friend that we see at Makers Meetup. Sent me those. Realized that I like Halloween, which I do. I love decorating for it. I also like fall. I was meant to be a teacher. I was meant to be a teacher, and I did not fully pursue that. And I can say that if I was a teacher, every holiday would be blown apart into my room, into my classroom, because I love, as you can tell, I love fall as well. I love Christmas. I have all the holiday things. So every time a holiday comes out, I am keyed into it. So thank you for these. I love them, and they make me smile, and they will go maybe on one more project because it has a hat. I can put it on my Musselburgh, right? The next Musselburgh that I cast on, because it has a hat on it. So anyway, that was lovely. And as I said, I also like stickers to put into my knitting journal, into my inspiration journal, into my daily journal. And a recent episode on Chit Chat Knits with Darcy and Katie, they talked about summer day crochet, and they had me at Sticker Book, and so I had to order one of those. Super stoked about using these now. If yarn is your love language, you're in good company, right? So I am pleased about that. And there's tons of stickers in here, and little puppy dogs, of course, and cats, and all kinds of cool things. So I am wanting to get busy using those, and knits and coffee mugs and all the things. So this again is from summerdaycrochet.com. And I will say right now here that I will, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, there will, in the details below, I will put everything, links or close as I can get to everything that I show or talk about here in the podcast. So I will do that. I also received yesterday in the mail, I'm going to talk Advents in a minute, but I received my Woolens and Nosh Advent. I did their sock one last year, and I wasn't going to do it this year, but they had me at the inspiration picture. So right from the get-go, it came with the yarn is in here with the little browns sticking out, and then also two skeins of for heels and cuffs, heels, and toes, I would assume. What I'm going to say is, right now, I realize this about myself. I am gung-ho in the beginning, but once we get started, I'm like, this is becoming a chore. And so that's why I kind of sort of opted out of doing Advents yarn related or projects for December, because I just want to knit. That's what I was finding myself. And last year I knit the socks out of this. And again, I was doing a couple others, so that may have entered into it. But this year, what I think I'm going to do is not socks. And I'm going to take a page out of our friend Kim's book. She did Woolens and Nosh last year and did a Musselburgh out of it. And so I think that this is going to be a Musselburgh. And what Kim did is she took one of the skeins, because in this bag you have 2 skeins, so you can work on 2 socks at the same time. And what Kim did is she took one of the skeins and knitted half of the Musselburgh, and then got a yarn for the second half, and not one of these, okay? So I think what I am going to do at this time, I'm still kicking it around, that maybe I do the same thing as Kim did, but I'm also thinking that since I have 2 here, that I might just make larger stripes, because there'll be smaller stripes in the Musselburgh. And so I think I might incorporate these in just together and just do 2 stripes, knit one stripe, knit the other stripe, so that they'll have a larger stripe. And then I'll have a complete hat that's all striped. And then I'll just put these into, into PYS. Or maybe I'll do just a brown brim. I don't know. So that one's kind of like in the works. Not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm leaning towards doing those two at a time, 2 stripes at a time. And then, mail call. This is where I'm going to talk to you about Advents, and then it's going to segue into something else. And as I said, I didn't do a lot. I did the Woolens and Nosh, and as always, in fact, we were in Norway when Kendra reminded me or said, hey, did you see the email from Door County? I also am going to be doing the coffee Advent calendar. Do this every year, and I love it. I love opening up a new one each day to see what it is. So stay tuned for that, for sure. And then in a little bit, when I'm done with this, I'm going to head out to our local Aldi, because I do believe today, Wednesday, the 5th, is the day that we do their Advents open up. And Cheryl keyed me into last year. There was a wine one, and so I'm going to check that out. I'm wondering if the wine one is going to be with the alcohol, with the wines. Last year, my local one did not have it, so I'm going to check that out. And I always pick up a dog Advent for my grand dog Kane, so I'm going to do that today, and also get some groceries. And maybe do a little shopping out that way. We have a new Marshalls and a new Ross that I've not been into. So I'm going to kind of take the rest of the day and just enjoy the things that are going on, and get all these errands done, because my plan is tomorrow on Thursday just to not go anywhere, because every day, like I said, I've been going somewhere or doing something or had something scheduled for a couple of weeks. And so I'm keyed into not. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is I just want to show you a couple of quick things. We have a group of friends that get together every October, and unfortunately I was not able to go with them this year because of a couple of family things that I really wanted to attend as well. And so they went to Brown County, Indiana, and it looked like they had a lovely weekend, and I hated that I couldn't go. But anyway, this is a group that we met at ZK many years ago, and when we decided not to go back to ZK, we started doing these fall little retreats places, Thursday through Sunday morning, renting a house, and hopefully always there would be some shopping and some yarn stores, and also then just fun and lots of eating and all of that. So what we dubbed this as my Yarny friends, and then what we did was what they called Craftober. And we get somebody's name early in the year, and the idea is to craft for them of some sort, knitting, crochet, whatever you want to do. And you get a list of things that they like and don't like, colors they like, and then so you create something for them, and then put some things in the goodie bag for them, and then you get to open them up, right? So I just have a couple things that I want to share with you that was in my bag. I'm not going to show everything, but I just want to show you. I'll tell you, first of all, I had Zoya, which is a friend of mine, met through this group up in Chicago. And Zoya received, if you remember way back, the Musselburgh that had from Gauge Dye Works. It was the multiple colors. It was the chrysanthemum colorway, and that was for her. Was her craft that I gave to her. She's a walker, a runner, a hiker, and I thought this would be a perfect right hat for her to have while she's doing that. And so that was a pleasure to see that she wore it, and I think that she liked it as well. And then Grace had me, and my bag was full of wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things. There was truffles that she makes, and it was, I can't remember if it was like 6 or 9, I think, of them. But anyway, I tried really hard these really different flavored truffles that she makes and then puts in beautifully decorated in a box. And then I tried really hard. I left them upstairs and I would have one a day. And then about the fourth day, it's like, no, let's just eat them all. So I had a box of truffles in there. I have this silky scarf that will go wonderful with this sweater for sure. There was stitch stoppers. There were stickers that she makes. There was an advent. There was a tea advent. So I get to have tea every night during Advent. So that was cool. There was a little tin of tea that I've already tried it. I've already been using. Oh my gosh. There was just all kinds of wonderful things. And so what she made for me, is he not adorable? And he is, as my grandson Lucas would say, Grandma, he says I'm squishy. He's squishy. And this is not a toy that the kids will play with. This is mine. Is he not adorable? And he's squishy. And the thing is, I am a Snoopy lover. I love Snoopies, right? But I have a collection, as you all know. And the thing is, I very rarely buy them for me. I prefer that they're given to me as gifts from family and for birthdays and things like that, because it's all the more special. Now, I do have a lot that I have purchased myself back in the day when I worked in the stationery portion, but he's not so cute. And so he's going to go in a special place upstairs and so that I can see him, and he just makes me smile. So that was one of the things. And then in the package also, these Grace made these for, I believe, for everyone, and she is a whiz. She made our stickers last year for Makers Meetup, but she's a whiz on Cricut and just a crafter. My gosh! So I have a bookmark, and then Craftober. Isn't that cute? And then also I will have an ornament, and this will go on my Christmas tree. This will go on my Christmas tree upstairs, my knitting Christmas tree. And I'm on the search for that as well, maybe today, for a larger tree to put upstairs, because I spend a lot of time in my knitting room in the winter, and especially at Christmas time, because I like to, just the coziness of it. So this was in there. And then one last thing that I just want to share was also that Lindsay made for everybody. This is a cozy for my cup, and I've already used it. It actually goes in my car because I love it for my Starbucks cups. But you know what? This would be a great wrist warmer too, or hand warmer in a pinch. But look at this. Is that cute? So that's a little bit of my Yarny friends. There were some other wonderful things in there, some gluten-free caramel cookies that you put on top, which I love those. I hated to miss it, but I had to do the family thing. So I thank those ladies. They are great friends, and supporters of come to the Makers Meetup as well, and it's always fun to see them, and I'm sorry that I missed them. So anyway, that is everything that I have, all what's on tap. Like I said, for me, I'm going to get ready and go out to Aldi's and go to the grocery, get some groceries, and check out their advents, and then maybe come back and dump all that off. And then I have to go to the library to pick up a book, because since the Norway trip, I'm like engulfed in maybe some Norwegian cooking or baking this year, just seeing what the various library books are out and about. So I have a book that has come in that I want to get that. And then I really need to go maybe check another Christmas tree spot out. Not sure of what I want to do. So that's kind of my day. I'm going to enjoy this weather for sure. I'm going to get out to the porch and sit a little bit this afternoon when I get home, because those days are far and few between, and it will be sad when that goes away. But as long as I can, I'm going out there. So I hope that you're having a great start to your November. I hope that your fall weather is as gorgeous as ours, and you are knitting some fun stuff. And yeah, I hope that you will come back, and I hope you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel just for fun, and be part of our community. So until next time, knit something fun, enjoy, choose joy, guys. Have a great, great couple of weeks. I'll see you later. Bye.